We're going to talk about 9 different literary devices. The first one I'm going to talk about is the direct object. A direct object will follow a transition verb, a type of action verb, and its formula is subject plus verb plus what or who equals direct object. For example, ZP and Maris play soccer with a grapefruit pulled from a backyard tree. ZP Maris equals subject play equals verb. ZP and Maris play what? Soccer equals direct object. ZP accidentally kicked Maris in the shine. ZP equals subject kicked equals verb. ZP kicked who? Maris equals direct object. Selena hates biting her fingernails. Selena equals the subject hates equals verb. Selena hates what? Biting her fingernails. A gerund phrase equals direct object. Even worse, Selena hates when mom lectures her about hand care. Selena equals subject hates equals verb. Selena hates what? When mom lectures her about hand care. A subordinated clause equals direct object. Also, we could find in verbal plus what or who equals direct object in this formula. For example, to see magnificent blood cells, Gus squinted into the microscope on the lab table. To see equals infinity. To see what? Blood cells equals direct object. Gus bought contact lenses because he wanted to see the beautiful Miranda, his lab partner, more clearly. To see equals the infinity. To see who, the beautiful Miranda, equals the direct object. Dragging her 75-pound German Shepherd through the door is Rosanna's least favorite part of going to the vet. Dragging equals current. Dragging what? Her 75-pound German Shepherd equals direct object. Does every sentence have to have a direct object? The answer is no. What form does a pronoun take when it is in the place of the direct object? Often it is desirable to replace the name of the direct object with a pronoun, not subject pronoun, she, he, example. It is object pronoun. It's her, his, for example. Now we're going to talk about the next literary device. It is indirect object. The indirect object is they are rare. You can read from pages before you encounter one. For an indirect object to appear, a sentence must first have a direct object. Its formula is the similar to the direct object. It is the same. It is subject plus verb plus what or who equals direct object. When someone or something gets the direct object, that word is in the indirect object. Look at this example above. Jim built his granddaughter's sand castle on the beach. Jim equals subject, build equals the verb. Jim built what? Sand castle equals direct object. Who got the sand castle? Granddaughter equals indirect object, so that Darren would have company at the party. Sammy and Maria bought him a blind date, and these few of example are um, the same as the first one, so we can see. Now we're going to jump to the next page. Does every sentence have to have an indirect object? The answer is no. What form does the pronoun take when it is in the place of a direct, um, indirect object? Often it is desirable to replace the name of a direct object with a pronoun. Not subject is project pronoun. That should be indirect, just a simple mistake. Then I'm going to jump to another page. It is another literary device. It is subject-verb agreement. A singular subject, she, Bill, car, takes a singular verb, is, goes, shines, whereas a plural subject takes a plural verb. For example, the list of items is or are on the desk. If you know that a list is the subject, then you will choose it from the verb. There are 6 different rules, and here are the first 3. I'm just going to read one. Subject will come before phrase beginning with of. This is a key rule for understanding subjects. The word of is the culprit in many, perhaps most, subject-verb mistakes. Look, this is example for incorrect. This is example for correct. The number 2 rule is true singular subject connect by or. Either or neither nor require a singular verb. For example, my aunt or my uncle is arriving by train today. Neither John nor Carmen is available. Either Kenna or Cassie is helping today with stage decorations. Or number three is the verb in an or either or neither nor sentence agrees with the noun or pronoun close to it. For example, neither the place nor the serving bowl goes on that shelf. Neither the serving bowl nor the place go on that shelf. This rule can lead to bumps in the road. For example, if it's one of two or more subjects, it could lead to this odd sentence. Awkward. Neither she, my friends, know, nor I am going to the festival. If it's possible, it's best to reward such grammatically correct but awkward sentence better. Neither she, I, nor my friends are going to the festival, or she, my friends, and I are not going to the festival. Let's jump to another page. This is number rule 4. As a general rule, use a plural verb with two or more subjects when they are connected by and. This is examples and look on rule number 5a. Sometimes the subject is separated from the verb by such words as along with, as well as, besides, not. These words or phrases are not part of the subject. Ignore them and use a singular verb when the subject is singular. This is the example. Number 5b. Periods of this are not part of the subject. Example is Joe and his trusting mind was always welcome. If this seems awkward, try rewriting the sentence. Rule number 6. In sentences begin with here or there. The true subject follows the verb. Examples: there are 4 hurdles to jump. There is a high hurdle to jump. There are the keys. This is another literary device. The countdown and non-count nouns. A non-count noun is what we call a mass noun. Nouns name people, places, and things. Many nouns have both a singular and plural form. A suffer or suffers, a flower or flowers, a pickle or pickles. If you can add a number to the front of a noun and put an S at the end of it, you have a count noun. Some nouns, however, have only a singular form. You cannot add a number to the front or an S to the end of these words. This group of nouns is called non-count nouns. Beatrice offered Jeremy a chocolate chip cookie. Jeremy, an employee, picked up all 17 cookies off the plates. Cookie is a count noun. You can have one cookie, but you can be a pig like Jeremy and have 17 cookies. This is our examples of nouns. This is example for not nouns. And we're going to jump to another literary device. We're going to talk about past perfects versus past simples. How do I form the past perfects? We need to have had plus 3/3 column of irregular verbs. How do I form the past simple second column of irregular verbs? When do I use the past perfect instead of the past simple? And when do I use the past simple instead of the past perfect? We use simple past if we give past events in the order in which they occur. However, when we look back from a certain time in the past to tell what happened before, we use past perfects. Examples. This is our simple past examples, and this is past perfect simple examples. Okay, we finished this page. We're going to another page. We're talking about plus ed and plus ing endings. Adjectives that end with ed describe emotions. They tell us how people feel about something. Adjective that ends ing describe the thing that causes the emotion. A boring lesson makes you feel bored. Some adjectives that can have both an ed and an ing form. This is our example of plus ed adjective. Look. Pew, 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 pew. And this is examples of plus ing adjectives. You can see through this 5. Past continuous and past simple. Past continuous tense is to talk about something that was happening around a particular time in the past. Subject plus auxiliary be plus main verb. There are two basic structures for the past simple tense. Positive sentences subject plus main verb. Negative and question sentences subject plus auxiliary do plus main verb. Oh, thank God, it's almost the end. How do I know when to use the past simple instead of the past continuous? How do I know when to use the past continuous instead of the past simple? We often use the past continuous and the past simple tense together. When this happens, the past continuous describes a longer background action or situation, and the past simple describes the action or event. Often, the action described by the past simple tense interrupts the situation described by the past continuous tense. There are some few examples. The other one we're going to talk about is modals and auxiliary verbs. This is one of the most difficult one I have found. Modal is a word such as can or would, which is used with a main verb to express ideas such as possibility, intention, or necessity. An auxiliary or auxiliary verb is a verb that is used with a main verb, for example, to form different tenses or to make the verb passive. How do I use modals and auxiliaries with other verbs? How is meaning of how should the verbs be conjuncted or changed when together? How do I express modals in different verb tenses? Modal verbs should have a verb following it to indicate the action. The verb should always be in original form. The meaning will change depends on the choice of modal verbs, range from compulsory must to voluntary may. Present tense shall, can, may, will. Past tense should, could, might, would. Examples notice you can get one for $1. It is possible to get one. Look at this. This is another 4 examples of this. Finally, we're going to the number 9 literary device. Subjects and predicates. Every sentence has a complete subject and complete predicate. The complete subject tells whom or what the sentence is about. For example, the house, the red car, or the great teacher. The complete predicate tells what the subject is or does. For example, the house is white, the red car is fast, or the great teacher likes students. This is our examples. As we can see, this is a subject, and this is so I kind of finish. Good. Oh, this is a subject and this is a predicate. And we're now finished the 9 different literary devices. Thank you for watching this.